Craig, how fired up are you for this season?
I love it. Like, that's the right answer. You know, it's not cocky, but it's confident. If I'm out there, I like our chances. And he's right. We need at least 2 more offensive linemen, left tackle specifically, and then we'll figure out what we do with Elijah Vera Tucker, if he's our right guard or right tackle and all that nonsense that no one cares about outside of New York Jet fans. So he's dead on in that. The wide receiver thing interests me because we did give his guy, Alan Lazard, $40-some-odd million, and he was a complete zero this past year. But it's no secret that the New York Jets want to get a complimentary wide receiver to play outside on the other side of the field from Garrett Wilson. Lazard, in theory, becomes a slot receiver for them. So he's dead on that. We've got a stud running back. I would not be surprised, excuse me, if the New York Jets spend every single draft pick and every free agent decision solely on offense. That would not surprise me. Now, Bryce Huff is a huge consideration because he's one of their best blitzers and guy who gets to the quarterback more so than most guys. And he's not an every down linebacker, but he's a badass who deserves to get a big payday. So we'll see what they do with Huff. But outside of that, all the help we need is on the offensive side of the ball. But Aaron Rodgers right there is in like midseason form. Calm, cool, collected, talking about, I like the pieces we got. He's the only guy in America that loves the coaching staff, so, I'll give him a pass on that one. But he's right, like, there's blood in the water in the AFC East, considering what's happened in Buffalo over the last 36, 48 hours with letting guys go and trying to get under the cap. We know in Miami there's blood in the water. You know, they lost Phillips, they lost Chubb. They said goodbye to their former captain, Baker. Jerome Baker, their starting linebacker, who's a big part of their offense since he went out there from Ohio State, 4, 5, 6 years ago, whatever it was. Guy's still in his 20s and is a star at linebacker. So there's blood in the water in Miami. New England's going to suck. The Jets have a legitimate opportunity right now to kind of grab a hold of the AFC East and fight for it and win that division. But he's right. If he's on the field, they've got a good chance. If he's not on the field, as of right now, because we don't know who the backup's going to be, then they've got no chance at all. But I like them odds.
Yeah, I like his confidence because I think he's also self-aware. Like, listen, me being on the field gives us the edge, but also him understanding that this whole season solely depends on Coach Salah's employment, Joe Douglas, because if they lose,
they're all gone.
They're all gone. And now you're talking about starting squarely over. No quarterback, no head coach, and no GM. So he understands, like, if I'm out there, we're going to be where we need to be. But to your point, you also got to understand, they let go of C.J. Houston-Mazada, right? They need a tight end.
He was terrible.
He was terrible, right. But outside of him, we need another guy. And you also talking about the receivers and offensive line, but also you go, who's going to complement with the running back, Breece Hall. We need another back too. So there's a lot of halls. There's a lot of needs, man.
Well, they got Izzy, who was their rookie last year, who'd be a backup running back. But we don't know if he's any good or not. But just the mere fact that that guy's coming back, wants to beat Father Time back a couple more years, meaning stay healthy. He's my starting quarterback. The one thing no one can dispute. You want to argue with me about winning the East? I get it. Josh Allen's a damn good quarterback, and the Bills have owned the AFC East now for the better part of this half of the decade, right? But you can't deny the fact that if Aaron Rodgers is on the field, we have a great defense. We've got a couple legitimate weapons on offense. If he is healthy, the New York Jets can beat anybody they play against.
Absolutely, and I think Aaron Rodgers knows this, is some teams are a quarterback away. This team's not a quarterback away. No. They're an improved line and a quarterback away. Like, the offensive line has got to be the first, second, and third thing that they address. Because we always talk about the skill positions. Oh, they need a second receiver. We need someone to back up Hall. We need another backup quarterback. They need to show up in the line. If they do that, Aaron Rodgers is healthy. Probably top
and I want to be clear about something. David Bakhtiari and Tyron Smith are not the answers. They're great names.
Big names.
They play left tackle. We need a left tackle, but they cannot stay on the field. They're also going to demand a lot of money to continue their NFL careers. And I respect the fact that Aaron's probably going to want Bakhtiari to join him because he tried to get him last year. But there's no guarantee that dude stays on the field. What was his tricep, his bicep, his pec, whatever the hell it is, his knees, his ankles, his groin, whatever the heck it is. The dude can't stay on the field. But I got to tell you, I know it's only March, 7th today? Man, does it not feel like August 30th? I mean, I am so revved up and ready to go for another NFL season. And the last season's only a month old.
Because Craig, look how we started the year with the Jets. They were on Hard Knocks, right? Everybody rushed to camp to see the circus in the New York Jets, and everybody was happy. You had Woody Johnson wearing all white and platinum chains, right? The New York Jets are coming. 4 snaps into that season.
Yeah.
Blew up in front of us.
Not just that, we beat the Bills in that game. We got the magic. Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson, front pylon, touchdown. The Bills are 0-1. The Jets are under. And that's how quick it went downhill.
Just like that.
Let's talk about the Bills with the second headline. They made some roster moves yesterday to clear up some cap space, and it hurt. It was Tre'Davious White and Poyer, 2 of their best players, and Morris, one of their captains. They lost 2 captains, 2 big players, and some others to clear up cap space. Craig, you astutely pointed out earlier this year that they were in some cap problems. Is this just smart business moves or an indication that their window is closed?
Well, it is and it isn't, right? You can make an argument Poyer's lost a step. He's played a lot of football for them at a very difficult position, safety, obviously. And he's had his off-the-field issue, which I have great respect for. He's overcome alcohol addiction and is a beacon of hope for people who have it, so I love that guy. The Tre'Davious White thing, to me, I'd be shocked if they don't re-sign him now or try to re-sign him. They're obviously going to play with fire here that he's an unrestricted free agent, so he can say, F you, I'm going somewhere else. And he did come off the Achilles injury. But they have decimated themselves on defense, and they weren't a great defense to begin with. Matt Milano went down with the injury. Now you've got, no starting safeties. You lost one of your best cornerbacks. We're not sure the health of your middle linebacker from last year. They restructured Von Miller's deal a little bit to save some money, but let's be honest, he played a little bit better towards the end of the season, but you can't count on Von Miller anymore. His great career is essentially over. You've got an offense now that has 1 wide receiver in Diggs. Gabe Davis is out of there. James Cook is a really good running back, so you got that. You have a decent offensive line, not great, but a decent offensive line who did a really good job late in the season, and you're still a couple $1 million over the cap.
Yeah, well,
it ain't good.
I want to speak to the offensive line. They traded their right guard Ryan Bates to Chicago, and they let go of Matt Morris. So as much as you talk about that offensive line maybe not being a glowing spot, you understand how they won their games towards the back end of that season was because of that offensive line running the ball. So that's going to be a major issue for them going into the season. How can they fulfill that offensive line?
And here's the craziest thing about it. You're wasting prime years of a great quarterback. I think Josh Allen's a great quarterback. Yeah. He's a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Easy.
And, it's funny, we always talk about, with Kansas City, Patty Mahomes overcomes the lack of weapons, right? Who's he going to throw the ball to? Well, he found a rookie wide receiver in Rice who became his go-to guy. And, of course, you have Kelsey, your all-world tight end. If I'm Josh Allen, I'm a good soldier. You paid me a lot of money. I restructured my contract a year ago to help you sign other guys to get under the cap. When do I get some toys to play with? Because he ain't got any.
Well, as a resident Bills fan, let me say this. They have a cap mess. We all agree. They're over the cap by so much. This is them cleaning up the mess. Poyer is 32 years old. He has the best footballs behind him.
I agree.
Tre'Davious White cannot stay on the field, right? Morris is a captain. That hurts. But you have to make these moves in order to win. In order to literally get on the field, these are the tough decisions that you have to make. This is prudent. This is intelligent. And this makes me feel not good about the Bills because these are such big names, but I don't feel bad about the Bills.
This will be Sean McDermott's last year as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
I disagree.
He's being set up to be the martyr and the scapegoat for the failures in Buffalo. Now remember, when Sean McDermott took over, he was everyone's favorite son. He fixed a franchise that hadn't been to the playoffs in 20 years, right? And brought them back to at least respectability. He deserves a lot of credit for that. But I'm telling you, he is being set up right now to be the fall guy for Buffalo's failure to get to an AFC Championship game and a Super Bowl.
Craig, let me ask you a question. How is it that the same person sitting across from me feels so good about the New York Jets, and feels so bad about the Bills?
Well, I'm a Jet fan.
Okay, thank you very much.
And here's what Buffalo doesn't have that I do have. I got a great defense. I got a top 5 defense. And I can win a lot of games just based on a top 5 defense and some level of competency out of my quarterback. Like, I don't even need Aaron Rodgers to win 11 games.
Quarterback that's thrown more passes than on podcasts.
I love your quarterback. I love Josh Allen. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, for real.
Yeah.
He's a top 5 quarterback. They're doing him a terrible disservice because they're not building around him. They're not going out there getting available weapons. I'll give you an example.
Outside of Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis is gone, right? So you've got Stephon Diggs. You got a couple good young tight ends. I'm not going to diminish that. You need another wide receiver, if not two. You got the little guy, Sri Lanka, Shakir, right? Who was open in the end zone, maybe win a playoff game against the Chiefs. And Josh Allen underthrew him. All good. That's on him. Yeah. And he missed Stephon Diggs across the middle for a first down. That's on him. All good. We get that, right? But here's the deal. Calvin Ridley is available. He's the best wide receiver available in the NFL as a free agent. I know the Bills can't sign him today because of the cap problem.
How many deals would they have to restructure to bring someone like him in?
If you don't go after a guy like that, if you make no attempt to get a guy like that, it's very easy to see what's happening. They're setting Sean McDermott up. They don't love Sean McDermott in Buffalo. Sean McDermott will what's today's date? March 7th.
7th.
Write this down and put it in our filing cabinet.
We have a filing cabinet?
Of Craigie's correct predictions 6 months before anybody else, okay? I'm telling you right now, Sean McDermott will not be the Buffalo Bills head coach beyond this upcoming season. He is being set up to be the scapegoat and the fall guy for Buffalo's inability to get to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. Mark it, stamp it, write it down, and put it away.
But that's unfair. Like he has done nothing but hold his team accountable, and they've delivered. He fired his OC and Ken Dorsey, brought in Joe Brady, and they changed their season when they were 5-5.
Move.
Like he made moves to keep them competent and relevant.
Did the great Willie Colon say, where? It's unfair.
It is unfair.
Oh, it's unfair.
That doesn't happen for me. What do you want to do?
It's unfair.
Punch you in the nuts on TV.
Whoa. Guys. Hold on, we got to move on.
It's unfair. The NFL's mean. Wow.
We have the Texans tight end, Dalton Schultz. We all remember him from the Cowboys. Well, he had some very interesting thoughts about his time with the Cowboys. Here is what Dalton Schultz, currently with the Texans, formerly with the Cowboys, had to say, and I quote Mr. Schultz. They've got a one-way mirror for people to look at. It's a zoo, dude. There are people tapping on the glass, trying to get people's attention. That's the brand they've built. That's what Jerry Jones likes. He's talking about the atmosphere and like the facility in which they work on.
Yeah.
They're using the team like zoo animals, and that's the aura. That's the environment that Jerry Jones creates. What's that tell you about the Cowboys?
I mean, it tells me that Jerry Jones knows how to make money. And he knows what people want to see. No disrespect, you are zoo animals, right? Like that's why
zoo animals, Craig.
I mean, that's what you are. Like
disrespectful.
you're on display for our entertainment. That's what you guys are. Why do you think every time they build a new stadium or arena, what do they add? They add that hallway with plexiglass windows on both sides for the players to walk through so the high-paying fans can get a glimpse of the penguin, of the zebra, right, of their favorite zoo animal. Maybe it's a hippopotamus.
So disrespectful.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
So the fact is, don't tell me, like you're Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
You're a really good tight end. What do you have, 50 catches this past year for the Texans, right? He's never had a 1,000-yard season, but his mouth runs like he has, right? And he is a very good tight end. And he's, a great addition to that Texans offense for real. But that's not why the Dallas Cowboys haven't won more than 2 playoff games in the last decade. It's got nothing to do with it. And oh my God, you're doing bench presses and people can watch? Oh no, the horror of it all. Stop it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, but I don't think that's happening anywhere else in the league. Like my time as a Steeler, we had people visit, but it wasn't a consistent thing. He's making it sound
he's doing paid tours.
Yeah,
is what he's doing. I get it. But by the way, I can tell you this. Every football team, you can speak to this having played for a couple franchises, there are huge sponsors of football teams, whether it's a beverage, a car, an insurance company, bank, whatever it is. And part of writing that big check is access like that. I'm sure there were days in Pittsburgh, maybe less so than in New York, but days in both franchises where there were random dudes at the facility and you and the guys might have been like, who's that guy?
Yeah, of
right?
course,
That happens. Every team has that to a certain extent. Look, I worked for the Rooneys many moons ago. And I can tell you, the Rooneys as a family love the public getting access to what they've got. They're great about that, so I'm sure you live with that as well.
Definitely.
Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.